really cold, really cold. Hang on one second. Alright, so here we are, right outside the Bryant Park. And the reason why I'm bringing you out here is because I wanted to talk to you about a makeshift market that is erected or installed every year right here in the Bryant Park location. Because in the winter season, what they do is they take the central park area of the Bryant Park and they convert it into an ice skating rink. And then there's this makeshift market all around it. So I'm going to show you what this makeshift market is all about. I'm going to show you why this is important to you as an entrepreneur, why you should focus on it, and what you can learn from this particular market and its installation in the winter season of every year. So let's talk about it. I would estimate there are about 85 to 100 shops right here, individual shops, and all of them are expecting to do at least 6 figures in revenue over the course of a month, of each month of their installation here, of their existence here. The reason for that is traffic. In the end, if you're growing a business, if you're creating a business, if you're starting a business, there are 6 different aspects of growing a business, only 6 different ways of growing a business. And just to quickly remind you what those ways are, the first one is get more visibility or get a higher number of leads. Second one is growing your conversion ratio, which is converting those leads into paying customers, clients, and prospects. Third one is, of course, increasing the transaction value, which is the amount of money people spend with you when they spend money with you. That's the third way of growing your business. The fourth way would be, of course, increasing the profit margin, and there are different ways of doing that. Fifth way is increasing the lifetime value, and there are 2 aspects to it, the fifth and the sixth aspect. The first aspect of increasing the lifetime value is increasing the average transaction frequency, which is the number of times an average client buys from you on an average, number of times they buy from you every single year. And the sixth one would be the duration of the relationship you have with them. So obviously you're going to be far more profitable if someone buys from you 4 times a year for the next 20 years, as opposed to someone buying from you just once and then forgetting all about you, right? So that's all about the lifetime value. And the idea there is you make far more over the long term when people are buying from you again and again and again, and you have clients who are loyal, customers who are loyal and who are rabid followers, and maybe even advocates who bring on other new clients to you. The reason why all of these factors are important is because when you focus on just one of them, you're growing slowly, right? You're growing linearly. But when you want to grow exponentially, you want to focus on all of them, because there's an exponential effect when you focus on every single one of these 6 factors. So if you just grow everything by 2% every single year, all 6 factors by 2%, it's not even noticeable. Nobody even notices that you're doing anything different. Yet over the course of a decade, you can take a business that is staggering today to something that is mega successful and something that has real equity that you can sell and move on. That's the big dream a lot of entrepreneurs have, is to sell a business, create a business from scratch, or grow a business and then sell it to someone else. You don't just sell any business. There's not a way to sell every business out there. The only way you sell a business is that it's fully systemized, or it's well systemized enough. It has a team. You've got a team where people are taking care of the business, and the business operations are taking care of themselves, and everything happens on its own. You don't have to be running the business. You don't have to work in the business. You can work on growing the business. So that's when you have some sort of real brand equity. And of course, profits play a huge role in it. There has to be profitability for a business to sell. So here's the reason why all these shops are here. They're here for a quick profit. They're not here to build brand equity. In fact, I cannot see any single name out here that I would remember after this is over. There's not a single shop out here, there's not a single vendor out here that I would remember and I would go back to them and buy from them after this is all over. I mean, right now, if I see something I like, I'm going to buy it, and then I'm going to remember it not at all, right? So there's no brand equity being built by being here unless I see the names over and over again. Repetition is the key to building a brand equity. Repetition. You see someone over and over again, you begin to know them, you begin to understand them, you begin to understand what it is that they do, so on and so forth. We've talked about that extensively. That is the purpose of follow-up. That is the purpose of advertising campaigns. I never talk about a single ad. I always talk about an advertising campaign, because that's the only way of building brand equity. And all these shops out here, They're great. Santa's Workshop, Melly's Illustrations, Three Angels, Patches and Pins. Great. You know, if I want to buy something right now, if I see something interesting, I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to buy it. And they have a profit margin, but they're only just focusing on the first four factors. There's no brand equity that is being built over the long term. And as such, either they show up every year and make some money, or nothing happens, right? So in the end, essentially, it's a tradesman kind of thing, where you do something and you get paid for it. But if you stop doing it, you don't get paid for it any longer. You don't really have any equity. Equity is something that continues to pay you, if you are the owner, right? Pay the owner over the long term, despite the owner not doing anything. So one of the interviews I watched with Tony Robbins in it had him saying, Tony Robbins saying that you should focus on or think about becoming the owner of some sort of a group of assets or a cluster of assets or some sort of equity. This is what I'm talking about. So if you're growing a business, focus not just on short-term profits, focus on the long-term, focus on growing your equity, where people remember who you are. Remember, mind share comes first, and then comes market share. From that market share, equity is born. The only exception to this would be Verizon. They're the only brand here, and they are the ones really using this opportunity for the best possible scenario, right? So what they're doing is, I'm actually going to do an interview just now with someone who's working here. You're going to see what they're doing, and they're doing it really well. What they're doing is they're enhancing their brand. Everyone else is selling something here. Verizon is the only brand that you can recognize, and Verizon is the only stall out here, the only installation out here where you cannot possibly buy anything. It's just a fun little thing, and it's something that you're never really going to forget anytime soon. All right, guys, so we are here with Laura, and
Hi.
she works for Verizon.
Hi, how are you guys?
So what are you doing here, Laura?
So this is the Holiday Photo Studio in Bryant Park. You guys are welcome to come through. We're doing special photos in front of the fireplace using augmented reality.
Awesome. So you should learn from Verizon, no matter what your politics are, whether you like them or not, whether you like their service or not, I don't care about any of that. What you should really learn from them is what they're doing for branding and for creating an experience that you're not really likely to forget. Even if you're not a customer of Verizon, this is something that you are not going to forget for a long time to come. So learn from them and establish or grow your brand value just like they're doing. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and spend thousands or tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that. I'm saying do things that are great in terms of being experiences that your clients, that your customers, that your audiences can enjoy. And that's it. That's all there is to brand building. So in the end, it comes down to whether you want to build a brand, a long-term brand, something that has value over the long term, just like a piece of land, or whether you want to turn a quick buck and move on. If you turn a quick buck, you're going to make more money in the short term, and in the long term, well, there's no real benefit. You're just going to have to continue to work in order to make more money. But if you're creating equity in terms of brand equity, and that's the only real equity out there in terms of business, right? Other things are things like real estate, offices, capital, all those things have intrinsic value, all those things are commoditized, they have a market value. Everything that you own has a market value. Brand equity is something that is beyond the markets, that has infinite scalability. And you can have a great deal of brand equity despite having a very small amount of tangible assets, right? Brand equity is largely intangible, and yet it has very tangible impact over the long run. If you don't want to be working for the rest of your life for money, try or consider sacrificing a part of your profits today and consider investing a greater amount of time, money, energy, and other resources right now in creating a brand and developing your brand and developing equity. Because if you do that over the long term, you wouldn't need to work as hard to turn a profit. You would be able to do things just like Verizon, where they're working entirely on brand equity and profits just come. Profits just flow to them. If you're a small business, what you could instead do is have a shop here and sell just like the rest of them, but also collect the information of your customers, maybe give them a free gift, maybe send them a free gift through mail, and that way you would collect a lot of customers' information, and then figure out a way to develop a long-term relationship with them, to develop a long-term follow-up relationship with them, and a long-term selling relationship with them, a campaign to communicate with them for years to come, a campaign that goes on and on and on and on, where you communicate with them, where you sell something to them, where you offer more value to them, where you help them in some way. So instead of selling one stick of candle or a dozen sticks of candle here one time today, how about offering a program that's a monthly membership where you're selling them or sending to them, shipping to them a pack of candles, depending upon how many they need every single month. Now you've got a long-term relationship with them, right? And some people will stay on for 2 months, some will stay on for 2 years, some will stay on for 20 years. That's how business is. The more disproportionate it gets, the better the return on investment gets. But you're leaving all that money on the table if you are not communicating with them beyond the first transaction at all whatsoever, which is what the vast majority of these people are doing. So that's it for this video. My name is Lakshmal. This is Westernston. We talk about systemizing your operations, building brand equity, building equity that you can sell, growing a systemized business. And I hope you subscribe. And if you like this video, hit like. If you have comments, if you didn't like this video, leave a comment below, let me know why. And we'll talk to you in the next video. Thanks for watching.